Hey y'all, I'm Angela. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel, Knit This Mess, where I talk about knitting, crocheting, spinning, things yarny, things messy. So, as I've mentioned before, if you don't know already, I am a rather poor record keeper when it comes to my knitting and other projects. So I'm trying to change that this year. I've got a notebook with my knitty stickers on it, and I am here to talk to you today about a finished project, a surprise project, and my baby step progress on my organizing. So let's start though with what I'm wearing. And this is a Penguono. It's a pattern by Stephen West. It makes a great big cozy sweater. I use it for keeping cozy around the house. I've used it as a bathrobe. I've worn it to the grocery store. It's just a great piece. I wound up using it a lot more than I originally thought I would. It originally started as a stash buster, and I used like 9 full skeins of sock yarn and did not make a dent in my stash. So obviously I need help. True to form though, in each section, it's done in a kind of a modular way, but each section has at least one sparkle yarn in it because I love sparkle. Okay, that's what I'm wearing today. What I finished this week, I could not believe it, but I actually finished the knitting part of my Moonset tee, my Ozetta Moonset tee, which is done in a silk linen blend yarn. I finished the knitting. I still have to block it, and I have a few ends to weave in, but I don't want to weave those in until after I block it. But yeah, I thought I was going to do a rolled cuff or rolled hem, but I wound up doing the I-cord bind off. I just think it looks a little more finished. So, oh, there's a stitch marker. So yeah, that's what I did this week. I'm so proud of it. I also have a project that I mentioned in passing last week, something I did with the Fiber MacGyver yarn I picked up at Woolen Folk, but it is still blocking. It's slow. I put it outside for a while yesterday because the weather was beautiful, but it's a thick project and it just needed more time. So, and now it's inside, but it just needs time. We'll see it next time. And next time, hopefully I'll be able to show off this completely blocked and finished and looking fabulous. Now, let us talk about what else I've been working on this week. And this is something that will be very familiar to you if you are a knitter, baker, painter, whatever you make. If you are a maker of any type, you probably know this feeling. You start out with great intentions. You say, I'm going to work on this and I'm going to work on that. And then something shiny crosses your path and you do a 90-degree turn. So that happened to me this week. Last week, I was showing off some of the yarns I picked up, and one of the things was a skein of sock yarn that I found at Knit City Montreal last June, and I believe my words were something to the effect, I'll make socks with this one of these days. And one of those days happened to be this week. So yeah, I've got one sock done, and the other one I've just barely started. I'm about that far on it. But yeah, I couldn't help myself. I mean, look at these colors. They're so pretty and spring-like, and I guess I was needing a touch of spring. But let's talk about the sock. I'm doing the monkey pattern, it's an old pattern. Some people may think it, oh, boring, yawn, a monkey sock. There's how many thousands of them already done? But I like it because for me, it's kind of a mindless knit. I can very easily memorize the repeat. The pattern is by a designer who went by Cookie A, and I actually met her. I took a class from her. She did a couple of sock classes on a Knitting Iceland trip that I went on many years ago. And she kind of disappeared from the knitting world. She doesn't put out sock patterns anymore. You know, as time goes on, people's interests changed, and I guess she found something else that fulfilled her more, and good for her if that's what happened. Anyway, so I'm doing the monkey sock. It originally appeared in the Knitty Winter 2006, I believe. If it appeared somewhere else before that, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. But that's where I encountered it. And this predated Ravelry, which I think is why this sock became so popular, because there weren't a whole lot of great sock patterns around back then. So it's a good pattern. I will say I made the foot a little too long, so I'm probably gonna have to undo the toe, which is a pain because I did a really good job grafting this one, but I'm probably gonna need to undo the toe and bring it back a few rows. There's only one thing about the pattern as written that I'm not a huge fan of, and that's the heel flap. And that's because it is just a straight stockinette heel flap, and it makes a big floppy heel, and it doesn't wear well. So I do the heel flap with a slip one, then knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip across, and then slip and purl on the other side. Slip one and purl all stitches on the other side. So it gives you more of a kind of a ribbed heel, and it's thicker. I also like to reinforce my heels and toes, and for that I have a nylon, 100% nylon yarn string that I like to use, but I can't find it. So yeah, I'm working on it, folks. Anyway, but I did have some reinforcement yarns. It's these, and it's great because they're a very pale purple, which fits in perfectly with this yarn that has some pale lavender in it. These came, there's a yarn called, I think it's pronounced Yavol, but it's made by Lang, and it's a sock yarn. And inside each rolled skein of sock yarn, they tuck a little spool of a reinforcement yarn. And so I had these left over from socks I did years ago, and so I've been using it to reinforce the heels and toes of these socks. So yes, always great. One of the things though that I like about the 100% nylon yarn for reinforcement is that it does not wear out like, say, the wool wears. You wear a hole in the wool, that nylon reinforcement thread will still be there and holding your sock together until you have a chance to go in and darn with a matching or coordinating, or if you feel like it, a contrasting yarn. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, so surprise, oops, I did it. Yeah, I couldn't help it. So that's what I've been working on this week while I listen to my latest favorite creepy podcast, which if you like creepy podcasts, the one I'm listening to right now is the Lovecraft Investigations, which is, I believe, started as a radio play for BBC Radio 4, and you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. That's my recommendation, my podcast recommendation right now. So, yes. Oh, and as I said, notebook, I have my sock, my monkey sock page here, where I say what pattern I'm using, what yarn I'm using, which is the Yarn Indulgences Sock Marl. The colorway is Marnie, and I kept looking at the tag and seeing Marine, but it's not. It's Marnie, and it's got pretty green and blue, kind of a turquoise aqua blues and lavenders and springy greens. So fun. And I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles, which I think I probably should have gone down to a 2.5, but maybe I'll just wash them in some warm water and shrink them up a bit and they'll fit better. And then I have lots of, I like to keep track of my repeats by hand. And then when I do the second sock, I just follow what I did for the first sock. And here's where I messed some stuff up. But yes, and then I started these on the 29th of January. So, look at me. Look at me keeping records. So this week's baby step for the organization. I did what I said I was going to do, and I went to IKEA and I bought a drawer insert. So now I have 2 drawers in my cabinet, and I've been working on gathering together my notions, and I've been finding little boxes here and there. I've also been working on finding all my needles and putting them where they belong. Let's see, and I have some interchangeable. I have a few sets of interchangeables. So my very first set of interchangeables I ever bought were these Addi lace, and you can see here it's all scratched up. That's because I have a cat who likes to scratch on things, and for some reason this texture really enchanted him. It's kind of this faux leathery, it's smooth and soft, and it opens up. And so they're the nickel plated. They're the lacy one. They're the lace ones. So they're very sharp points. They're quite nice, except for the way they attach to the cables. They attach with a spring, kind of pushes in and twists it, and it holds it with a spring. And I have had very poor luck with those. Maybe it's the way I hold my needles. Maybe I've had a few springs fail. They just don't work anymore. I've had quite a few come unattached as I was using them. So I hardly ever use these at all anymore. I should probably get rid of them, but I keep them around just in case. I don't know why. Then I discovered Knit Picks, and I started gathering just as I needed them. I didn't go ahead and buy a set. So, but I did get one of their Pendleton wool cases to keep things in. And so I have a few interchangeable sets. I've got a bunch of cords. Oh, look, here's some more DPNs I need to put with the other DPNs. It's just crazy. So anyway, attempting to get organized. And I really do like the Knit Picks needles. They are I get the wooden ones. The only ones I haven't loved are these, and I don't know if you can tell, they're the square ones. Some people really like them. They just weren't for me. I didn't bond with them. I prefer the round ones, but they do make very nice needles, and you really can't beat them at that price point. And then now these are my ones that I love. And I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's Leica or Leica, I don't know. But I have the driftwood, and see, some are in use. I only have one right here because I stepped on one and it broke. But yeah, so these are the ones that I use the most now. And then in the closet, I have a wall hanging thing that's got tons of fixed circulars in it that I acquired at an estate sale a few years ago. And that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to gather up my notions, all of my stitch markers and odds and ends, scissors and measuring tapes and anything you can think of. And I'm gonna get them into those little drawers once I figure out what I have. I think most of my notions will fit in those 2 drawers. We'll see. And of course I have a bag of bags, so I'm trying to gather up as I go through things, and I have project bags that get emptied, and then I have a lot of bags that aren't really project bags, but I use them as project bags, especially for bigger projects like canvas totes, that kind of thing. And if you are a knitter or a crocheter and you tell me that you do not have a bag of bags, I'm not going to believe you. Oh my goodness, we all have a bag of bags, don't we? Oh, and I have a few of these that are, these are sock holders. And right now there's a set of needles in there. There are needles everywhere, y'all. They replicate. They breed like bugs, like rabbits. They're just everywhere. So yes, I've always dreamed of having a craft room where there was a place for everything and everything was in its place. I'm not there yet. Not there yet. Someone gave me flowers this week. We hosted a dinner party and people brought me flowers. That was lovely because it doesn't happen often. So I don't know if you can see it on my chair behind me. This is one of the blankets I crocheted in the last couple of years. It's the Fruit Garden blanket by Janie Crowfoot, I believe. Janie Crow? I don't know. I will figure it out and post links down down there. It's inspired by William Morris designs. It's very nice. I'll also link where I got the yarn because a lot of the crochet designers whose work I really like are based in England, and they use yarns that are really hard to find outside the UK. I usually get those yarns from Wool Warehouse, which is in the UK, and it's worth it to get the nice yarns that I know will be right, but also they have shipping. I can't remember how much it is to do the expedited shipping that has tracking. It comes through DHL. I think it's about 10 pounds. And it's totally worth it because it comes in like 2 or 3 days. So to get something from England to Texas in 2 or 3 days, be able to track it, it's totally worth it. Especially, you know how it is when you're ready to start a project and you're really excited about it. And then if you have to wait 3 weeks for the yarn, that's no fun. So yeah, I will link, and Wool Warehouse is great because they have all kinds of packages already put together for these designs, like Attic 24 and Janie Crow. They have all the packages already, the yarn packs already put together. There is a cat outside the door. Should we let the cat in? Okay, I'll be back. Oh, okay, we're back. with a cat. So this is the cat. This is Samantha. She's my little old lady. She's 18. So let's talk about what else I'm going to be doing this week. So I'm going to be basically playing a game of Kiss, Marry, Kill with my whips and kits. I keep finding more, and I'm trying to gather those all in one place too. And I need to go through them and decide which ones do I want to keep and really work on and put in my queue for working on. Which ones, I still like them, but I'm gonna put them on the back burner and not think about them maybe until next year. And then which ones just need to be frogged, which ones just need to go away, which ones don't deserve to be finished. And I have identified my first victim. And this is actually, it's not a whip, it's a project I finished a few years ago. It was a pattern from Knitty, and when I found the pattern, I was just, oh, this is gonna be perfect. But then when I finished it, I found that I never wore it. It's very heavy. It's like a long vest, long short sleeve sweater. And it's in a very heavy, warm yarn, and it keeps me warm in the wrong places and cold in the wrong places. And I think probably if I'd done it in a different yarn, it would be better. And again, I can't remember the name of the pattern. I will find it. Hopefully I did this back when I was still making an effort to keep track of things in Ravelry, and I think the yarn is by Rowan, but I can't remember which one it is. Some kind of Tweety Aran maybe, but it's got a lot of cables and it took a lot of yarn. I think it was, I don't know, 12, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to unravel this and find something else to do with this beautiful yarn. It's a great color. I don't think it was right for this particular project. And no, you can't eat the flowers. If you're gonna be bad, you have to go away. So yeah, this one is getting, it has been condemned. Now what I'm going to work on this week, other than my other sock, yes, I know. I'm going to go back, I think, to my twists and turns that I showed y'all a couple weeks ago. See if I can finish Clue 2. And that will be kind of my focus. We'll see. That's what I say I'll focus on. I'll probably do something completely different. So yes, next week I will come back, show you my other sock. I'll show you my blocked Moonset tee. I'll show you my blocked cowl that I did with my Fiber MacGyver yarn. And other than that, I don't know. We'll see. I hope to have some other good progress on my organizing done. And as I said, I'm doing it in baby steps. I've seen other people dump all of they say, I'm gonna reorganize my yarn stash. And then they dump it all out on the floor, and it's all, they put it up as like a 15, 20, 30-minute video, and there's no way I can do that. I don't have enough floor space. If I get down on the floor and roll around in all that yarn, I don't think I'd be able to get back up, y'all. So yes, I'm just chipping away at it a little bit at a time, and hopefully that works for me. And I'm just sitting here looking around, and I'm like, oh, here's a project, here's something I need to work on. I just gotta stop and just go do it. So thank you for coming to see me again, and I hope that you will like and subscribe, and that this content is doing something for you, even if it's just look and say, whew, my office, my craft room doesn't look nearly as bad as hers. Whew. Or maybe Maybe I'm giving you hope. It's giving me a little hope. So until next time, bye-bye.